There are many people that believe in God or some sort of gods all around the world. Most people look to God for survival, being the ultimate being in whom we must give praise to because he is our creator. And as a Christian, I believe God exists. Not only that he exists, but he desires for humans to be in a relationship with himself. And he made that possible through sending his son Jesus for us who died on the cross. But you also have people that don't believe in God and believe that since the coming age of science, people in ancient times were just too naive and not advanced to know that science really has been the one all along helping them through getting them through life. I share all of this because this is a huge idea in an anime I just finished watching called Platinum End. Crazy enough, the same author of Death Note also created this manga and as well. But talking about this anime, I want to make it in 3 parts because there's a few ideas that come up in this show from this anime, and I think I just want to pull them out one by one. The main plot of Platinum End follows a guy named Mirai who's on the brink of self-deletion. His parents have died in a mysterious car accident, and he lives with his aunt and uncle who are mad abusive towards him. All hope lost, he decides that he's going to end it all and jump off a building until an angel named Nase ends up saving him and tells him that he, amongst other 12 individuals, are in the running to become the next god candidate, since the current god is retiring, which is really weird of thinking God can retire. This god is retiring in 999 days, and they are given abilities such as red arrows to make people fall in love with them, wings to help them fly anywhere in the world that they want to, and the deciding white arrow that can take the life of anyone, even another god candidate. Depending on the rank of the angel determined by God, they get these powers and various abilities. It sets up a wild story because it further reveals that the other god candidates were all chosen for the same reason as Mirai, not having enough strength to live anymore and given the second chance to turn their life around to try and achieve ultimate happiness.
そんなこと言ってない。
言った。
頼むから死なせてくれ。
だから特級天使の私が生きる希望をあげる。
希望？
And honestly, the common theme that seems like is missing from all these individuals' lives is that they aren't happy, which is the show mainly portrays people that are just trying to take their lives because they're not satisfied with the world they're living in right now. What's weird to me is that the angels make it seem like the only way that they can be happy is that if they try to become God, as if that's the ultimate solution to them being happy. So this sets up a wild competition with all the God candidates. Most of the candidates, to be honest, don't even really want to be God except this guy, Metropolitan. Long story short, this guy is the villain in most of the series, who's pretty much a diabolical psychopath who really desperately wants to be God, and he does everything possible in order to achieve this role. From lying, manipulation, and killing, he's pretty much compared to Light Yagami from Death Note. But this guy's crazy obsession with being God ends up putting Mirai and his friend Saki and Mr. Mikado to a decision. Do they let Master Palaman do what he wants and kill all the candidates? Or do they take him out before he takes them out? Because, to be honest, they stand in the way of them actually being happy. He's the main threat of the show.
力をレッド取引だ。神の座などいらない。譲る。メツレコ、お前は僕の妻に迎えてやる。
残念でした。瓜生奏、ノロマはあんた。こうしなければもっともっとたくさんの命が失われていたんだよね。
それでも一つの命。
よかった。未来くんがまた一つ幸せに近づいた。
特級天使の私がまた。
Now, I'll stop here because I'll explain the rest of the plot in the next video, but I think Platinum End shows us this problem that we all really, really want to be happy. When the candidates are chosen, they're chosen because they were about to get rid of themselves, which is a wild criteria. And on top of that, all of their motives, especially Metropolitan's motives, aren't for the good of all society, but for their own self-interest. And they seek to achieve their own personal subjective happiness. And throughout the show, everyone has a decision to make to achieve it in whatever way they want. This becomes a moral dilemma when the happiness of one person conflicts with the happiness of another person. And it causes a clash that really can't be avoided. Watching the show, I saw how in reality all humans already act like God candidates. That we can do what we want and it doesn't really matter how we go about it as long as we get what we want. And right now, we live in a culture that everyone wants to be happy, and it's believed that nothing really should stand in the way of that happiness. I mean, our Constitution gives everyone the opportunity to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Will Smith pursued happiness for the sake of a better life, and that's great and all, but it becomes a problem because everyone has a different definition of what it means to be happy. And on the surface, that sounds great. But beneath the surface, this becomes a problem if what makes you happy causes danger to oneself, another person, or society at large. This is displayed in the final battle with Metropolitan when Mirai, Saki, and Mukaido band together to eventually defeat him because he threatened everyone else's happiness. It also poses the question that if you had everything you wanted, would that make you happy? Because even some of the God candidates who aren't really interested in becoming God use their powers to do whatever they want and to get things that are really just fleeting desires that don't really satisfy them or are just straight out foolish. I truly believe that you can be happy, but true happiness doesn't come with being able to do what you want or getting what you want. But I think it comes from being in relationship with the one true God who is actually God. The Christian perspective on this is that from the very beginning in the Garden of Eden, we wanted to seek out our own happiness. And we're met with the temptation to become gods if we were to just not obey God. And ever since believing this false narrative, we have been trying to find happiness in every single thing. We've been trying to find contentment in the things that are really only temporary, trying to be God of our own lives. We wanted things our own way, but in reality, it never works out and it only leads to death. The good news is, and I really do mean good news, God in his love and mercy decided that he didn't want us to die, but he sent his son Jesus, third person of the Trinity, God in the flesh, to live the perfect life we cannot live, to die the death that we deserve, and to rise from the dead, so that all that believe in Jesus would have eternal life, but not only eternal life, a relationship with God, who is the only one that can give us ultimate satisfaction and contentment and happiness. I think God can make us happy, but I'll substitute that word for joy because I believe that we really always won't be happy and we always won't be joyful. But I do believe being in a relationship with God through Jesus allows us to experience those happy days, not by ourselves, but with a loving God who loves us, who loved us so much that he was willing to go to the cross for us. In Platinum End, the God candidates, mostly Metropolitan, seek to become God for their own interests. In our real life, we have a God, the only true God, who did not count quality with God a thing to be grasped, but he emptied himself as a servant who was obedient even unto death. If you're watching this, just know, especially my men, right? You will not find happiness in thinking that you can do whatever you want or that you get whatever you want.
Well, what color's your brigade?
Because in reality, it'll only leave a hole in your heart that you'll continue trying to fill with other things that won't be able to satisfy you and care for your deepest longings. Only Jesus can do that. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe and like the video. If you want more videos like this, check out the channel. See ya.